What is up? It is Andy coming to you on a Tuesday, and if it's a Tuesday, you know there's an assortment of NHL Sniffs coming your way. So sit back, relax, grab your Scientology Travolta cans, and put on your best Scientology smile, because I'm about to dish you something even wilder than I started with yesterday. Yesterday, I started with the Toronto Maple Leafs. I said, there's nothing more Toronto Maple Leafs than going into Winnipeg, an 8-0 undefeated team with the Vezina winner of last year, probably the Vezina favorite this year, and they're going to win because like that's so Raven, that's so Maple Leafs. And they did it. They went in there, they scored 6 goals, came out with a win. Anything can happen. Jamie Kennedy in Scream. We're close to Halloween. Everybody's a suspect. There's no rhyme. There's no reason. Don't try to say this team's so good and that team's so bad. Early in the season, scam hockey money lines. You should have seen enough. Did you see Chicago beat the Avalanche? Oh my God, I can only imagine how many of you had your little crazy money line parlay burned yesterday by either the Sharks who won or the Blackhawks who won. Don't bet money lines consistently. You really are just going to end up burned. Anyway, you see what Travolta's wearing over there? Well, you see that color? It's almost like they gave him a San Jose Sharks starter jacket in the mid-90s when they just tried to hand them out. They couldn't hand those things away. We saw the Sharks come back, a crazy third period comeback. And when we go looking for reliable players, we're always looking, where's Connor McDavid and where's Nathan McKinnon? We're chasing these 2-point props. The most reliable stars, who obviously aren't stars, in the league, the Granlund Eklund Toffoli line. Every single game, whether they're down 5-1 and score a meaningless goal or two, or they storm back to beat the Phoenix or the Utah, whatever the hell they are, in overtime, these guys come through game after game after game. Now the sportsbooks are finally starting to wise up, at least on Granlund. But in a home game, coming off the heels of that crazy third period comeback and overtime win, oh man, this is a crazy place to start. You ready? So this one I really do like. Granlund Eklund. I'm doing this every single game. This thing's plus money. I'm running it. They're more reliable than Sidney Crosby. It's unbelievable with these guys. Granlund Eklund point parlay. Speaking of which, by the way, another massive point parlay night. Massive profits. We've been doing this for 10 days. Units after units after units after units. It's pretty incredible, and I know some of you are starting to understand this a little bit. Obviously, it's easier if you know the sport, but somebody tagged me on Twitter like, Andy, I saw that the Columbus Blue Jackets right before the game, they announced Chinakhov was back up on the first line with Marchenko and Sean Monahan. So I took all of them for a point. They were all on the top power play, and all of them raked, and the odds were incredible. The odds were so great. Now, these are guys in Columbus, a home game against the Oilers who played the previous night. I mentioned that my gut was like, I like the over on their team total. All you had to do was take any combination of those 3 guys and you're over plus 200. Do you want to know what the San Jose Sharks are to win this game against the Kings, who've made the playoffs a couple straight years? Plus 200. Would you feel comfortable taking the Sharks tonight? Yeah, that's probably going to be a filthy sweat. But if you take Mason Marchment and Matt Duchene on a great Dallas team, 2 guys who register a lot of points, that was plus 300. San Jose Sharks plus 200. Duchene and Marchment both getting a single point in a game, plus 295, 300. So now maybe you guys understand why I'm always trying to steer you toward those point props. And you might say, oh, the hurdle and the Draisaitl didn't work out. As I told you, those are like specks on the bigger board. The board killed it. I just happened to steer you towards a bad one or two. But we will try to steer you in a better direction, which is why I'm going right back to that Granlund Eklund. And in this home game, off the heels of that win, I think the Sharks have a couple goals in them. So now my slightly crazier play, other than the Granlund Eklund combo, is the over 2.5 goals for the San Jose Sharks. And then the craziest of them all.
Oh my God!
There's such volatility from game to game. Any team can win any game. All I try to do is kind of ride some coattails like Marty McFly. And I'm gonna take the San Jose Sharks, or let me say, I'm gonna pick the San Jose Sharks to win this game. You have to win a certain amount of games throughout the course of the year. This isn't the NBA where a team, like the bottom-ranked team, will win 7 games all year. They're gonna win some games, and when you try to isolate which ones those might be, well, on the road after a massive third period comeback and winning in overtime, getting right back on the ice the next night in a home game against the Kings, that could be a spot where they win. Now, I will tell you, like when I give you something that I'm like, oh my God, Sam Laporta over 30, I've been saving back. Yeah, I'm betting that. I'm not betting the Sharks. That is my pick. Like if I have to submit official picks, that is my pick. And I'm trying to kind of read between the lines here. And I think it might be an interesting night to take the Sharks. So now we went a little crazy with the Leafs, but that's nothing compared to picking the Sharks to beat the LA Kings. Now let's try to go towards warmer waters right here. Let's focus on a team that we know a little bit better than that, the Boston Bruins. Boston, they were struggling. I told you about that offense. Bottom 5 in so many offensive categories, but they got a much-needed win and scored 4 goals in the process against Toronto at home. Now, they're staying at home. They've been waiting for their next opponent, who is the Philadelphia Flyers, who are just hemorrhaging goals, no matter, even if they're winning a game like they did against Minnesota over the weekend. Even Washington got 5 on them. This is a team that is struggling defensively. They're getting awful goaltending, and coming into Boston, who found a little bit of offensive groove. Marchand got on the board with some points. Pasternak got back on the score sheet. I'm going to try to target some Bruins players here, but first, I'll start you with something right at the counter of your pizzeria. Give me the over 3.5 goals for the Boston Bruins. It's close enough to even where I think it's worth a little sprinkle. I know their offense has been bad, but I'm hoping the Flyers are the cure-all for most teams. And then also just a little bit of excitement after that last win. Maybe they'll be able to pop a few goals. Who's going to pop those goals, you ask? Well, you remember we tried targeting Charlie Coyle's under once they tried to move Marchand back up to that top line, and then Zacha was on the third line. It was a weird lineup. They canceled all that out before the last game. Marchand back to the second line, Zacha back up to the first line with Pasternak and Lindholm. And I think this line, who's going to get the matchups they want, you get last change at home, they should be able to pop in a goal or two. And I see a couple different assortments. First of all, if I only choose one player to go with a winger like Pasternak, it's going to be his center. And I'm going to take Elias Lindholm for a point. It's plus 105 on its own, but I'm going to take the both of them for a point each. I mean, they're on the top power play together. You always can get that free point off a face-off. Win a face-off, goes to McAvoy, over to Pasternak, goes in. So I'm going Pasternak and Lindholm, both to register a point. And then Zacha and Lindholm, 2 points each. The 2-point limemate combo is plus 2,200 against the Flyers, and the game's in Boston. I mean, what if the Flyers get awful goaltending again? We can absolutely hit this if that first line clicks a couple times. So give me that assortment of bets. I got the over 3.5 goals for the Bruins. Got the over half of a point for Elias Lindholm. The Lindholm point, Pasternak point, and then the Zacha 2 points, Lindholm 2 points. A lot of sniffs up in that game. And now we got the New York Islanders hosting the Anaheim Ducks, who are just eating losses against the Devils, the Rangers. Are the Isles going to be the third tri-state area team to give them a waxing? I don't know if they're going to give them a waxing. I don't know if they're going to blow a lead like they always do, but I do know that they reunited the power play from last year. So now it's going to look a little bit different. Siplikov's off that top power play, and they're going with what worked last year, kind of. But that's Barzal, Horvat, Palmieri, Brock Nelson, and Noah Dobson. What does that mean? We get Barzal and Horvat again. They play together on the first line. They're going to be on this power play, and Horvat's price has come down enough to the point during this couple of game stretch here where they've ran weird power plays that if you take him and Barzal, you're absolutely in the plus money. And against Anaheim, I think this is one that could definitely pay off for us. So give me Horvat and Barzal there. Then let's go over to Montreal, where we have been feasting like vultures on the corpse of Kirby Dach's plus money point. We found out that Uri Slafkovsky was dealing with an injury, taken out of the lineup. So who took his spot on the top line and on the top power play? Oh, it was plus money Kirby Dach. Points in like 3 straight games. We've been vulturing him. And we've enjoyed every second of it. I think now he's around even minus 105. And while that's always an option, you know I'm going to have those line combos in. Somebody that I want to focus on is on the other side of the puck. The Cockroach Kraken reunited a line that has been playing very well for them. They've been struggling to find offense in these recent games, but not this line. Pretty much all their offense is coming from McCann, Eberle, and now reunited with M.Beniers on the same power play. I'm always looking for that guy who's getting the best value on his half of a point. And because Eberle and McCann were playing together for so long, it's going to be M.Beniers who we're going to try to focus on here. So Beniers for over half of a point in this game. And also this one could be a 2-point line make combo. You can do Beniers for 2 and McCann for 2, or Beniers for 2 and Eberle for 2. You're going to get some great prices with those Cockroach Kraken. So that's what I like over there. And then one more classic case of trickle-down snakeonomics, Pittsburgh Penguins. Brian Rust is injured. So now we learned via the practice reports that they're going with a top line of Evgeny Malkin, Sidney Crosby. So they're putting them together. They're putting all their eggs in one basket with our opening night dud, but he's been pretty good ever since. Rickard Rakell playing alongside Malkin and Crosby. His point is plus 105, and obviously we can take Crosby and Rakell both for a point, plus 180. That sounds pretty good in this home game against Minnesota, where I think they should be able to score a couple goals, but it has to come from this line because the rest of the roster is absolute trash. Like, I think Michael Bunting has been put on the 4th line, and I got news for you. There are always 2 sides to trickle-down snakeonomics. There are 2 sides to that Harvey Dent coin. We know that Rakell's up there. Well, who's all the way down in the basement, despite the fact that they have no other scorers throughout their, 2nd and 3rd line? They put this guy on the 4th line, and I got news for you. You can take the under on his half of a point. But I wouldn't mind if you need to juice anything on this slate, throw in that under half of a point for Michael Bunting. The NHL, they give you a couple opportunities all year where they're going to allow you to take the under on a 4th liner, and I believe you should be doing it every single time. So under half of a point for Michael Bunting. Those are a couple treat things I threw your way on this interesting Tuesday night in the NHL. Good luck to you. Better luck to me. You guys just continue to do me those favors. Hey, it's almost Halloween. You got to let me know your favorite candy in the comments. We started this convo on a Dave and a Dan. I need to know if the Three Musketeers makes the cut as a legitimate candy you're excited for. Are you excited for it? Or is it at the bottom where it's good enough, but you're not really excited? So once all the heavy hitters are gone, you can deal with Three Musketeers. Or are you chucking them out the window? Because I've been trying to figure out how these things are still around. I've never seen somebody decide to purchase a Three Musketeers. So if everybody is not choosing that and it's just a 4th or 5th option, like that's like on line 4 with Michael Bunting. The Three Musketeers is permanently buried on line 4 with Michael Bunting. So under half of a point for Three Musketeers. So leave me the comments down below. Talk about some Halloween candy. I'll go down there. I will try to engage with some of you people. It's always very much appreciated. But not as appreciated if you join me and the other sniffers on the Patreon. It's patreon.com/Andy Francess. Hopefully I see you there. If not, I will see you on Wednesday for another round of NHL Sniffs. Take it easy.